Roman Reigns has decided to grace us with his appearance. He said, "You know what? I've been on the yacht for a little bit too long. Let me clock in just for a little bit. Make a little extra bread on the side, and then I'll get back on my yacht." He had to handle some business. He had to dish out some beats tonight, and we're definitely going to talk about that. And also, what does that mean in relations to Jay Uso? They're doing something there, and we're gonna definitely dive into that. And I also wanted to talk about the Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes promo segment they had tonight, and the implications of what story beats may come out of that one. So let's start with Cody. Obviously, Cody was on Monday Night Raw again this week, but Seth had something to say. Seth had, kind of been thinking about what Cody had told him last week on Monday Night Raw. Basically saying, out of all the times we faced, you have never beaten me. So that's kind of been on his mind. And he's been thinking about it. He's been pondering about it. So Seth comes out there. And he goes at the fans for, sitting there not choosing him and cheering Cody Rhodes when all he's ever done was essentially give his body, his heart and soul to WWE, and all he's ever really wanted to do was get rid of the cancers like CM Punk, the cancers like Roman Reigns. He was doing that for everybody, and this is the thanks he gets. Y'all want Cody to beat me at Crown Jewel. Y'all want him to be the superior champion. He also brings up the fact that this is a different Seth Rollins. He's a different Seth Rollins, just like Cody is a different Cody than what they were a few years ago. They were trying to climb to the top of the industry. They're both at the top of the industry, and none of those matches matter. Only thing that matters is when they go one-on-one and they face each other at Crown Jewel. That's the only thing that matters. Everything that happened in the past is non-existent in his eye. So Cody comes out there. And what was really interesting is Cody didn't get his normal pyro. Like, he went for the wall, he had the pose and everything. No pyro. He even looked at the pyro setup. He's like, where the pyro at? So he didn't get no pyro for the first woe. He didn't get no pyro for the second woe. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know what was going on there. I know Seth got his flame pyro situation when he comes out there and there's flames all over the place. He got that, but Cody couldn't get his pyro, man. What y'all doing? Cody's QB1. He deserves to get his pyro. Get it together. Get it together. Hey, WWE, if you need a pyro technician guy, I'm your guy, man. Just tell me which button to press. I'm going to press that motherfucker. Anywho, so I thought that was actually pretty funny. Didn't get his pyro, but Cody, he starts to stir the pot. What he starts to do, and he did it last week. He did it on Friday Night SmackDown with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and basically telling them, like, how much do y'all really trust Paul Heyman? Because if you know anything about Paul Heyman, he's really only in it for himself. And obviously they weren't listening. And he tries to do the same thing here with Seth. He basically is like, all right, I'm assuming you probably didn't know that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed showed up to SmackDown. I'm assuming you didn't give that order. And basically Seth tries to sell it. He's like, no, anything that happens with the Vision, I know about it. It runs through me. And that's when Cody decided to bring up the part where Paul Heyman talked about his interaction with Brock Lesnar and Brock wanting Paul Heyman to introduce him for his match against John Cena at WrestlePalooza. He brings that up. He's like, did you know about Paul Heyman walking out Brock Lesnar? Did you know about any of that? Because it's starting to come off as if we don't know who's really running the Vision. Is it you running it, or is it Paul Heyman running things? And once again, Seth trying to no-sell the idea. Nah, I know everything that happens. Everything runs through me. And I do think that is going to be something I hope they expound upon. Because let's be honest here. Seth and Brock Lesnar have had history. They obviously are not like best friends or anything like that. So they've had their history in the past. And it's going to be very interesting to see where's Paul Heyman's true loyalty when it comes to Brock being involved. I'm willing to bet that's going to be something that they play into, and I hope they do. So, after, Cody stirred the pot a little bit, he brings up the fact that, look, man, it's really supposed to be just champion versus champion. Who is the best? Who is the better man? He talked about how, I find it hard to believe that, the same guy that helped me at WrestleMania 40, you were my shield at WrestleMania 40. You were the MVP of that night. You helped me dethrone Roman Reigns and to become the new WWE Undisputed Champion. You expect me to believe now that this respect between us is all of a sudden gone? He even teased the idea of them, when they hang it up the wrestling boots, that maybe they will be in the back one day, working together, molding the future of WWE in the back someday. And Cody's basically like, look, bro, he's trying to like get Seth to understand it don't even really have to be as personal as you're making it to be, because at the end of the day, you're one of the biggest reasons why I'm even champion now. You don't have to like be buddy. I at one point I thought we were friends, but it doesn't have to get no further than us trying to see who's the better champion. And Seth shuts that all down. Basically, Seth's like, no, none of that matters. Like he was really kind of conflicted with himself, and I like how he was kind of acting it out. Like he was telling them to shut up because he didn't want to hear that, because deep down he knows that's his friend. He helped him out. And he's like, nah, I don't care about none of that. I am not your friend. I'm not trying to shake your hand. I will never admit that you're the better man. I don't care about none of that. At Crown Jewel, I am trying to write a new timeline. Everything that happened before Crown Jewel doesn't matter. You are not a part of the vision. All I am focusing on is building the future in my eyes. He's basically on some Kane the Conqueror type shit, to be honest with you. He wants to build a new utopia, a new world, a new timeline where he didn't lose to lose to Cody Rhodes 3 times in a fucking row. So he's like, in his eyes, he looks at Cody as the enemy, someone standing in his way, and someone that's reminding him of the past losses, and he is trying to get rid of Cody. And the only way he can do that is by beating him at Crown Jewel to really solidify himself in his eyes as the future of the industry. Love this promo. Like the back and forth. You can see Seth he's conflicted. He's not all the way there. He's very conflicted. And even before the tag team match of the Usos versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, they're back in Gorilla, and Seth is back there with them with Paul Heyman, and he's just over there saying, I need to win. And Paul's like, oh, you got it. You're going to beat Cody. You'll be good. But he stops Paul. He's like, no, I need to win. And essentially, he's like, I need to do this by myself. That's the vibes he was giving off. Like, he wants to kind of do this on his own. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. I do agree with Seth. I do think he needs to win. He needs this win, because if you're this leader of this new faction and you can't beat, the other top champion, at the end of the day, a lot of people give the World Heavyweight Championship this secondary title. I mean, it was really created so Raw could have a title, because Roman had both the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship sold up at that point. So they created a new title. It came off as the lesser title. And if you're trying to build up Cody as this viable threat on Monday Night Raw and one of the top guys, he gotta have a win here. Whether he cheats or not, I know some people are going to be mixed on that, but he's a heel, so he gets away with that. But he needs to win here, because if he loses, how much of a threat is he really? And granted, he shouldn't be losing, because he has a faction that should always be able to bail him out until they're not able to. So we'll see how that plays out. But I definitely did enjoy this segment. And I want to talk about, obviously, Roman Reigns clocking in to work off his yacht. They have been doing this situation with Jay. Jay has really been more aggressive, even to his own brother. They were kind of playing that up tonight on Monday Night Raw ahead of their tag team match. Jimmy's kind of chastising him about what happened on last week's show and how essentially his after Jay's match with LA Knight, he just kind of left LA Knight to get packed up. Jimmy comes out there to help, and then Jay didn't even really move quick enough to even want to help Jimmy. And Jimmy kind of brought that up, like, bro, you left LA Knight out there. Hell, you was about to leave me out there. Like, what's going on with you? And you can see Jay getting frustrated. He's getting irritated, and in his mind, he's all about, it's only about us. It's only about family. Nobody else. We got to take out any and everybody. There's no need to help anybody. None of that matters. That doesn't help me become the champion. That's one of the reasons why I'm not champion now. And he's taking Roman's words so literal to the point where he feels as if he doesn't need anybody else. The only thing that matters is his family, and that's it. Everybody else doesn't matter. None of that is important in order to get back to the top. That's how he feels. So, we get the match. Pretty solid match. I know some people are like, oh, we're seeing this again. But obviously, this is setting up a storyline for the future. And Jimmy pretty much gets eliminated early in the match. Braun Breaker does like a dive. And he, ends up hitting Jimmy Uso off the announce table from the timekeepers area. Nice, cool visual before the commercial break. So a lot of the match, Jimmy was just buried under the rubble of the announce table. But ultimately, Jimmy comes back in there to try to help out. But they end up losing that momentum, and it does look like the match is about to be over. Braun Breaker hits his spear. I believe he hits it on Jay. They're about to stack them and pin them up as Bronson Reed's going to go to the top to squash them both and get rid of the Usos once and for all. But then you hear Roman's music. Roman comes out with maximum aura, but this time Roman just doesn't come out there alone. He comes out there with a weapon, of course. He comes out there with a steel chair. Last time we seen Roman, he had got packed up in I want to say that was Clash in Paris. He got packed up there. So he's been going on the yacht, resting up real good, doing this movie role thing, being a star other places. So he said, I'm going to clock in today and I'm going to beat some people up that took me out per storyline. And he started beating them up with the steel chair. Like, he just didn't come out there just bare fist. No, he came out there with an equalizer, packing up Bronson Reed, got him out the way, and then threw Braun Breaker back into the ring. And Braun Breaker ended up eating a kick. I believe it was a super kick. Then he ended up eating a spear from Jay. And then they both go to the top, Jimmy and Jay, opposite sides of the ring, and they both hit the stereo Uso splash. And Jay gets the pin for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And Jay and Jimmy defeat Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker with the assist of OTC1 himself. Then Roman gets into the ring and said, nah, y'all really packed me up, so I got to get something out of this. And he starts beating the crap out of Braun Breaker with the steel chair to the ribs over and over and over. Then he hit him in the back with the steel chair. Braun Breaker falls out the ring. And this is where things get interesting. You see Jimmy just kind of chilling on the ropes, trying to recover. But then you see Roman and Jay embrace each other. They dap each other up. And you hear Roman basically tell him, take everything. Nobody's going to give you nothing. Essentially, don't show no mercy out here. Take what's right. It's only about our family. Take everything. Don't hold nothing back. Don't show no mercy. Take what you want, because nobody's going to give it to you. And essentially, he's hyping up Jay. He's fueling what Jay has already been feeling like. And you can see Jimmy looking very concerned between them because he knows how this goes. Basically, what we're getting is another version of Roman Reigns, but this time through Jay. He is more focused on doing whatever needs to be done to gain back the World Heavyweight Championship or a top title, even if that means hurting people and destroying anyone that gets in their way or gets in his way. And he's starting to treat Jimmy the same way that Roman was treating both of them in the bloodline. Jay's starting to do the same thing. So it's very interesting to see where they're going to take this story. I am excited to see how this is all going to play out. But hey, comment down below. Let me know. How did you guys enjoy Monday Night Raw for tonight? And obviously, what was your favorite part of the show? What was your least favorite part of the show? And are you guys interested in the storylines, like the direction that some of these storylines are heading? I appreciate all love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking with me. See you on the next one. Peace.